Won't you take me back to Tennessee?
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest info about hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. This episode is brought to you by GSM Outdoors, whose vision is to preserve the sportsman's legacy, fuel innovation, and enable the next generation of outdoor enthusiasts. Think outside. That's where you'll find us. Now, make welcome your host, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. We got an awesome show lined up for you today, and we are at the Region 3 office today, Don.
Yes, man, I love this place.
Yeah.
They've decorated the lobby out with all kinds of mounts. I mean, just every species you can imagine here.
Yeah, it's always fun to come to our regional offices and visit with folks throughout the state and learn more about different things, and today's a lot different. This is one sport that I don't know much about at all. So
we're both going to learn a lot today from Vincent, I believe.
It's going to be fun. Vincent Pontello is our guest today. He's our wildlife program manager here in Region 3, and appreciate you being on.
Yeah, no problem.
It's going to be fun. Don, do you want to do a radio shout out?
Yeah, just in general. You know,
okay.
We're kind of coming up on the end of the year, and we just appreciate all our radio partners across the state, about 35 of them, and you know, it's great to be able to get the word out on the air across the state. So we appreciate every one of them.
Yeah, from Mountain City to Memphis.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome, and appreciate you guys out there on our Spotify and iHeart or you know, Apple Podcasts, wherever you tune in there. Thank you for doing that. Or if you like to watch us on YouTube, thanks for watching. We just love to share what we can. And like Don mentioned, we're wrapping up the year here, and
that's right,
2026 before we know it. So, yeah, it's good times.
It is. It really is.
Well, today is all about falconry, and that's a topic that many of you may not know much about. I didn't until I started working for the agency. It was a new term for me, and so, you know, after a few years here, we're finally getting Vincent on the show. First time on WildCast,
yeah.
And we're going to dive into that topic today. But first, Vincent, I want to learn more about you. Tell us about your career with the agency. I think you were an officer at one time.
Yeah,
that's come up through the ranks in different ways.
Yeah, I was actually a firefighter paramedic and changed career paths. After graduate school, went to the agency, got hired as a wildlife manager. During that time, they commissioned me an officer, so I took the Roane County position for several years. Switched to the biodiversity division under as a wildlife biologist. Was one of their assistant chiefs for a while, and then Region 3 opened up for this position about 3 or 4 years ago, and Region 3 is my home.
Yeah.
It's like family here, so I
back.
wanted to come back. Yeah, and I think Lord willing, I'll end my career here.
All right. Yeah. Well,
that happens a lot with wildlife officers, especially. You know, I think the first one out of the chute after they get to become an officer, usually they send them off somewhere where they're not so comfortable.
I was lucky. Yeah, I didn't have to move. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they usually gravitate pretty nearly back home.
Yeah,
eventually.
I started my career in Region 3, and then I want to end it here. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
well, did you grow up hunting and fishing in the outdoors kind of thing?
Not really, a little bit. I didn't really, we moved, I hate to even admit this sometimes, but we moved in 1994 from out west, and I didn't really do that a lot. I got freshly married, I was very young, moved here to the fire department, be a paramedic, and really started right then. Started meeting some people, and it was my passion. I always liked being outdoors, and I really started hunting a lot and got into falconry in 1995.
Okay.
And I hadn't looked back since.
Well, and we were talking about before the show, but you've gotten more into deer hunting and bow hunting and things like that.
Since since I have a little bit more time, and I'm not, you know, as an officer it's a little difficult because you're working a lot of those weekends and those guys are working really hard. So it's kind of hard to make that my sport. Mm-hmm. And falconry's been such a big part of my life, but I'm starting to enjoy that because my 20-year-old still at home wants to do it some. And yeah, last few years I've been doing that. I'm enjoying that quite a bit.
Very cool.
I don't need any more hobbies, but yeah.
So what prompted the initial interest in doing this?
I think everyone has certain things. I've always been interested in birds of prey. Sounds ridiculous, but there was a book and a movie called My Side of the Mountain from the 60s.
I remember
and
this
title, kid went in the mountains and got this falcon and trained it. And then I went to a Renaissance fair. Gosh, I must have been about 13. And I was all excited. My dad's like, no. So when I moved to Tennessee, you know, in about 94, I'm like, I can do this. I got a house, So
Yeah.
I called the state and didn't know much about it. And they sent me an information packet. And I met a gentleman named Mike Acuff and Jim Heppenstall, who recently passed away, and started going with them. And that was it, dude. It was done. He probably couldn't get rid of me.
Nice.
So, and then it's like, I don't know, it's still just as fun to watch. It's kind of like the ultimate form of bird watching. I just like going out there and being with the birds and watching what they do. It's still as exciting today as it was in 94 or 95.
Yeah,
That's great.
very cool. Well, let's dive into to what falconry is, the sport. Share with folks what we're doing and how it came about. A little bit of the history too, maybe.
So the best guess right now is about 2,000 years ago. They believe it started in Mesopotamia or in China.
Okay.
So not 100% sure, but Mongolia, a lot of these other countries do it, and it's like anything else in life, right? What are we? We get the new muzzle loaders. We want the inlines. We want to go to something greater that shoots farther. So instead of just throwing something for small game or whatever they were doing, they learned they can get these animals out of the wild and train them to hunt for them. So the sport is a hunting sport. It's not a pet by any means. There's a lot of stuff where it's a hunting sport. So a lot of different style of birds can do a lot of different things. But for me, I was in East Tennessee. I'm talking about West Tennessee. If you're not squirrel hunting, you're missing out on huge opportunities.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And I'm not, I didn't want to go out there and necessarily shoot woods, but it sure wasn't fun watching the birds grab them. Sorry, it just is. So that's kind of, it's a hunting sport. It's a weapon, but it's a live animal.
Yeah.
So that is my weapon.
Yeah.
But it's a live animal that you have to have somewhat of a relationship with and work with and train. And it becomes slowly kind of like an art form after you do it for a while.
And it's been in Tennessee for a number of years.
Yeah, I'm assuming I talked to Jimmy back in the day. He said when he was young in the 70s, there was no license. He just did it. And then they slowly started getting a license. And Bob Hatcher been here, they did it. So I think in the 70s is when we started saying, hey, we're going to regulate this. And the feds do, it's under federal law. But yeah, I think it was the 70s for the state. This is from somebody I talked to that was a falconer, not from the state itself.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's permits and things involved because you're taking a bird from the wild. You're not.
Yes.
We're not allowed to do that as a private citizen to take.
And you can see a lot of YouTube videos, which I'm not a big fan of personally, about how to trap because it's illegal. It's also a federal offense. There's a federal permit that comes through the state. So falconry is regulated by the feds because these are migratory birds. And you can't just have a migratory bird as an animal. So, but they do allow for different things. And for the sport of falconry, there is a permit process that you have to get. In this state, there's a testing. You do a test. And then when you work through the permit process, find a sponsor, and we can talk about that like that. Then you get I do have a state falconry permit, but it's tied to this feds have given us the authority to do this. So it's definitely federally regulated, what birds I can take, how many I can have. But yeah, for sure. There's definitely a permit. It's not the difficult permit process, but it's important.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to some of that in a minute, but let's jump in real quick on some of the equipment that is used in this sport. So obviously the bird.
Yeah. Right. So there's a way to hold a bird. So I'll show on this here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we brought another guest with us. So
we'll see how he handles all these things. It might be not so well. We'll see how that goes. If you look at him, you'll see on his legs, you'll see little anklets, which we call anklets. And then there's little holes in the back, and I'll have these straps coming down, which are called jesses, and that's the way I can hold them.
Okay.
Right? In the field, you use that really to hold your bird. There's things called hoods. This particular bird, I don't use it with. There's no need. But there'd be a hood. You'll see a lot of them in movies and TV.
Right.
And what it is, and if you guys have pet birds, there's something about a bird when you turn off the light, they just... And even when I go to the vet, who's a friend of mine, if you put the hood on, the birds immediately calm down. So you can take them on long distances. When you're done with the hunt and you're going back to the truck or you have other game flying around, you can put a hood on the bird, tighten it, and then they just kind of chill. This bird doesn't have it. I don't need it for him. There's the old sport, been around for years, and I make my apprentices do it, is bells.
Okay.
And they're very specifically made bells. I have two different tones in case you're tone deaf a little bit. And you can tell the jingling. Like I can tell what my bird is doing by the bell. I can say, okay, he's after something. He's just moving up. As I get older, I don't hear as well. I have a transmitter on my bird.
Okay.
That's kind of the new style. They're micro little GPS transmitters. And I won't let my apprentices use like a basic one, but I don't want them to use that as a excuse to not do good management. So if you're good with your bird, you can always hear the bells, know what's going on. And then I literally on my phone now, I can pull it up and I can see exactly where my bird is, what height he was at, where he landed. So it's kind of nice. So that's some of the main equipment you'll see. A lot of guys will carry lures, depends on the bird. So when you're done with the hunt, hunter, you're having a hard time getting them back for whatever reason, you haven't really tied to that lure well, you can pitch a lure and they'll come back down in. I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but that's the general birds. I grab my bird, I grab food to feed him when I'm out there. I grab my whistle because I can't whistle for nothing. So there's a call they do, right? They know when I do a certain call what it means. So if I need him to come back, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I grab my telemetry and I go. And then, I'll have a way to dispatch game. I've got certain tools for that because it's not appropriate to let something suffer. I mean, it's like a pterodactyl grabbing us. You know what I mean? So,
right.
yeah.
Very cool. Awesome.
And a game bag. Sorry, there's a big game bag where you can hide it, or you're going to have that thing grabbing you all day long.
What's the typical amount of time it takes to train a bird from the time?
It depends on the species. Some people brag about, I can do it in this couple weeks. It depends on how you get the bird, what its weight is and all that. My experience, if you're let's say the apprentice is trapping a wild red tail, they should be out free flying and hunting within a month. Okay, some can be a little quicker. Some might take a little more time. I try not to take too much time because you want to get out there and get them on game.
Yeah.
But it all depends on different. Like if you get an eyas, which would be a young bird out of a nest, which I've done, it takes a lot longer to get to the field. Just depends on the species. But your average, I'd say about a month. Might take a little bit more or less depending on the person and the bird. People sometimes it's a bragging right how quickly, and that doesn't make much sense to me. Get it out there, do efficient hunting, make sure your bird knows you.
Yeah, knows where to come back.
I'd say a good month. If my apprentices are taking 2 months, there's major problems. Dude, we're going.
In a training session, how long would that be?
Depends on what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
So let's say I trap a red tail, an immature red tail, which has a brown tail. For those of you who know, see brown tail and a belly band. Red tails don't have red tails when they're first born. Before their first molt, they have red tails and they have yellow eyes. As they get older, will start browning up. So let's say I get them, right? And what I like to do is I get like a chicken neck or some little piece of food on my hand, and I sit in a room with just a little bit of light. The first day they're flapping on. They're like, who is this dude? I'm at light at night. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then as it progresses, they're sitting there. And the big trick is when they first take their first bite, there's something about birds of prey and other animals. When they lean their neck over and have to bite, that's their death in the wild, right? So once they do that first bite, it's like you can see something click in their eyes. Then you get into them jumping to you and this and that. So I would say those days I'm not spending more than an hour.
Okay.
Watching TV. I'm letting I do baptism by fire. Grandkids run around, dogs jumping everywhere. It's just me, dude. Because you get them used to everything quickly. Some of you guys do things. Now, sippiters is a different ballgame. So it just depends. So yeah, about an hour.
Okay.
Very interesting.
And talk to any hunter how they deer hunt. There's going to be a lot of different conversations. That's what I do, and it works well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about the birds. So, what are some common raptors that we use for?
Okay, so in falconry, we're going to use it as this. We're going to say long wings, short wings, and broad wings. So long wings are going to be your falcons. So in Tennessee, what's your most common you guys see? What's that little guy? You ever see a little guy bouncing his little tail on a telephone wire? He hovers over a field. That's your American kestrel. It's one of the smallest falcons in the United States. That's a true falcon. We have peregrines. Right. We have prairie falcons. Once in a blue moon come through here. Merlins. I like hunting with the small birds. I think they're a lot of fun. So that's long wings. And a lot of times, if it's a falcon, what do you guys think it's eating? What do you think its prey would be?
Mice.
Or
that'd be kestrel. But in all the other falcons, what do you think their prey is? They're high up. They go way high up, and they're built for speed.
Other birds?
Avian.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're built differently. They're thinner. They have longer toes, a middle toe. So they're built to grab birds and hit birds. So that's a different style of hunting. It's a little tough here. That's why I like the little Merlins and all that, because it's a small area. Now, West Tennessee will be awesome because it's open for the large falcons. Some of the guys do large falcons. I had a peregrine, so it's nothing against that. It's just, it's hard to find good open places because you want them up 700-800 feet, and then you want to pitch down on something you flush, and you don't want to be running over East Tennessee hills on some property to go find your bird. So that's it. So that's the long wings.
Okay.
Short wings are going to be your sippiters, and they actually call you an ostringer, not a falconer. So the falconer is the term for falconry, but ostringer is the term for your accipiters, right? In the state of Tennessee, you're going to have your sharpshins, your Cooper's hawks year round, and we have some goshawks come through. That they're kind of sprinters, so they're avian.
Okay.
My little Coopers and Sharpies are avian, but they're sprinters. Like they're bam, bam. You're not doing long flights from up high, but you can beat bushes and they'll actually chase a bird real quick, run it down, or they'll go in a bush and grab at them like a velociraptor.
Huh.
Those are cool little birds. They're a little spastic, but yeah. So that little avian Coopers might do something else because they're larger, but a lot of those are bird hunters. Goshawks, I have friends that squirrel hunt where they do everything, but they'll kill. There's a video called The Grouse and the Goshawk, and they're seasonal up west, so they'll nail a lot of avian stuff too. But that's your short wings, and then your broad wings. They're gonna, I guess you call them. People call it dirt hawking instead of falcon, but broad wings are like your hawks, your buteos, your red tails, Harris hawk. Not a lot of people do red shoulders, but your hawks. And that's where out here, that's my bread and butter because small game hunting for rabbits and squirrels in the woods all day long. Small fields all day long. It's a lot of fun.
Well,
does that make sense?
Let's bring out the Harris
and out. See how this goes. Because there's all kinds of stuff would eat in the wild.
Yeah, for the folks just listening.
If he loses his mind, he's going back in.
All kinds of small critters mounted here that would normally be his potential dinner, right?
Yeah, he could be just chill or a little nervous because we're all here, which means he won't be focusing on that. Come here, buddy.
We've been making a little noise here.
There you go. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
He might. We'll see. He's a little heavy today. Okay. So this is Gaylord. This is my Harris hawk. It's this correct spelling. There's an apostrophe S. Some would call him Harrisis. But these are really neat. And he's a short wing. I mean, a broad wing. And if you look, he doesn't really have long toes. He has more powerful rear hallux and feet. He's for grabbing mammalian quarry, right? He would eat, like I go pigeon hunt at night and stuff, like just because they're really not covered under our Title 70. They're a nuisance species. So he'll do that. But generally speaking, like I've done jackrabbit hunting with him out west, which is a lot. They go surfing. But with this particular bird, they're one of the most social animals there is in the bird world, and they'll hunt in packs. So I can call 3 or 4 friends that are socialized with me, and we can all throw our birds up. One of my friends, we go that do it all the time. And here's your anklets I was talking about. Here's his band. And if you look at his eyes, see if we can do it real quick. He has a nictitating membrane. There's a second membrane that comes down.
Okay.
And that's to protect them as they're eating. And his nostrils are normal, but if you look in the falcon nostrils, you'll see a little stick. And that's so if they stoop in at 100 plus miles an hour, the wind doesn't go straight in.
Oh, wow.
So they're all built a little differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I've had him 15 years, 14 years. He's got some battle wounds from squirrels over the years. I've been in a couple other shows with him. He's family. A lot of times in falconry, you fly him for a little bit. I've let him go. I've had him forever, dude. I'll have him till he goes, I'm sure. But he's very social, very friendly. He's doing pretty good here with everything going on. So he's really easygoing. Like most birds you can't do this with, but if we're out somewhere and I got to stuff him in my jacket pocket and zip it up and stick a little head out, he'll do it. I wouldn't do that with a goshawk or something. But
that's funny.
And it's kind of neat to go with friends. And I kind of look at him as my squirrel dog because he's been like some of the guys have the larger Harris hawks that really want to squirrel hunt, which can be dangerous. If I have him at a certain weight, he'll buzz them without hitting them, but he can find them before anybody else. And we actually call him a make hawk. So since he's so experienced, I have friends with brand new Harris hawks that their birds are just kind of learning. They'll learn off him. So we go together. He's kind of a make hawk. It makes training go way faster in the field because they'll watch what he does and they'll try to compete with each other. And there's a whole social hierarchy in like how they'll sit in trees. The females are the bosses, then the male adults, and then the female immatures, and then the immature males. And if they go to the wrong spot, there could be a problem.
Okay.
So, but they'll even watch each other's young, like cousins and nephews out in the wild, more from the West Coast, arid places. There's a couple subspecies. I don't know which one he is, to be honest with you. But yeah, so that's like he said, and like he's pretty chill. He'll sit here, probably a little nervous just because everything's going on. I got his weight up a little bit.
So how long, you said you've had this bird 14 years. How long will these birds roughly live?
Well, I've got people had them over 25 in captivity.
Okay.
Like anything else, like I've got vets. A good friend of mine, Mike Jones, is a veterinarian that does falconry too. So I got people that can help when something goes south. They don't in the wild. So it's nothing like the wild. I don't know their time frame, but it's nowhere close.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, horses these days, or my horses, they're saying they can live up to 30 years or plus. It didn't used to be like that. So veterinary care, he's got it made, man. He's got the Taj Mahal. I've got a heated perch. He's got it made. And when it gets real cold, other birds can handle it really well. They can't, even though he's got a heated perch. So we got an 11-degree night coming up in the next few nights. He'll be in the house in the box. Okay. Because I just don't risk it. But yeah, he's got it made, dude. Fed, he's got a little water. He doesn't, and then we go hunting. I'll probably go all the way through March. And you're welcome to come. And then the reason I keep him is as I do my horses and other things and help my son in the fire department, I'm not doing this as much as I used to but I kept him instead of having, my wife told me one time 3 birds was too many. She doesn't say much, but 31 years of marriage, you listen, right? So with him, I can just hunt him. If I don't have to hunt him for a week or 2 and a friend calls, I can go meet people. Like the other birds, it's a lot more by yourself, which is fine, but these is more of a social bird. We can throw 2 or 3 up together and 3 of us can have a ball. We can go to Texas and 7 of us can do it. So Harris hawks are a really neat, a neat bird. They're not native. I wish they were, but that's just the way it is.
So tell me about male versus female. As far as flying,
this is live, right? Okay.
And
so
what do you like to fly?
In the bird world, females are larger in the falcon world, or in the bird of prey world.
Okay.
So let's say a female red tail is just, now I try to say this and you'll understand this. Males, a large male can overlap in size and weight and distribution, according to research, than a small female.
Okay.
But they're built differently, right? Females are more stout. To me, they're a little bit more aggressive.
I think you got a little feather there.
Yeah, probably, dude. As long as it ain't some rot food he coughed up. So anyways, so it depends. Like, it just depends. I like a small female red tail because they're way more maneuverable to me. You're going to get a million opinions.
Yeah.
They crash hard. They'll get anything. Males are great if you get it going, but sometimes males take a lot longer to get going because they don't literally, like, birds know intrinsically how tough they are and their weight. So like they'll know, hey, I'm not going to hit that. So to get a little male, and like he takes harder hits on his feet with squirrel bites than a female would. So it all depends. I got him because I like doing a little bit of bird hunting off a T-perch for house sparrows and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, I like the males because they're kind of quicker. But what I've noticed in East Tennessee, when I did a lot of rabbit hunting, them crashing cover, which we have a ton of cover for rabbits, it's harder for them to get down and actually hit. He gets stuck 3/4 down in the briars.
Yeah.
Where that female was like a bowling ball. Now, I had a male peregrine because I wanted to hunt just smaller birds like doves and stuff. But if you want to go after the larger ducks, you would want a female with more weight. So it's really kind of what weapon you want, right?
Yeah.
So there's, and then like Sharpies are so small, the males, no way, dude. It was just too much. He was 66 grams and she's 650 today. So he is. So they were just too little, where the female Sharpies, I can do anything I wanted to with it. And it was more easy for me to maintain weight and hunt it, so I kept it. So there's a lot of little idiocracies, and some will say different. I prefer my apprentices get a female the first year, just because a male can be a great bird, but not all of them are, where it's kind of hard to get a female that doesn't hunt pretty successfully its first year if you do the basics. And males are great. There's some guys with real male red tails that out hunt anybody. I'm not just saying that. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Just how I believe.
Well, there's a lot to cover here.
Yeah.
We're going to run out of time for sure.
No worries, dude.
But I want to touch on the apprentice part. You've mentioned that multiple times. So you work together. You learn from someone, right?
Yeah. So in this sport, it's required. You have to be an apprentice. There's an age, I think we did it to 13, could be 12, I don't know. You got to be an apprentice for a minimum of 2 years under a licensed general or master falconer. And what that did was, like when I did it, when I'd call Mike, like it's like anything else. Anything else in life, the more you do it, the better you get. It's not that it's just life, right?
Yeah.
So like when I'm new, I'm like, I had a weight, I'm hunting and he's not hitting right. I'd call Mike, what's going on? He'd come out with me. He's like this. When my apprentices come out, if they listen, to do the things I ask them to do. And then I told him, I said, if you do something off the internet or some other falconer, I can't help you.
Yeah.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. I know my way. If you do it my way, I can fix my way. Once you're on your own, you can figure it out. So they'll come out with me and I can look, or when I had Chris was mine, he does great. I can be like, your bird's too fat, dude. You got to cut a little weight off him. It's like a hunting dog. He's not keen enough. He's playing you. He's acting like he's hunting, or he's sitting there. Or I've seen him where they had him too weak. I'm like, no, you got to take that bird home and feed it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that they do. I teach them how to make equipment. Most equipment I make myself.
Okay.
Even my hoods. Not everybody does. I don't make bells. Some guys do. That's just beyond me. Teach them about housing. If there's medical problems or things they call about, like their tail feathers, not necessarily on these species, but my accipiters for sure, they'll break. Just the way they are, especially if you had an imprint. And then I have to have I've had people mail me some, and then I have to hood them and then actually put in prosthetic tail feathers.
Oh.
Yeah, they look the same. And I've had a couple Merlin feathers or kestrel feathers and a Merlin before. It just happens.
Yeah.
So they got to teach. There's a lot of little aspects to teach. And like, to me, if an apprentice gets a bird that does great its first year, I may make them get rid of it, because you don't learn unless you start having problems. You know what I mean? They're like, I got this. I'm no, you don't.
Yeah.
So then I want to get something else. And I know it sounds mean, but like, you don't learn until things go south. Everybody's had problems. It's just life. So anyways, that's the apprentice program. And once they're done, they can get upgraded to general. I had to write a letter. I don't know if that's still required or anything. I think it is. And then they get upgraded. And then they can sponsor people. I usually ask them to wait. And then after 5 years of that, you can put in for a master falcon, which gives you an opportunity for more birds. Just labels, I guess.
Yeah. What are the limits on birds? Are there limits on?
Yeah. So a kestrel can only have, apprentice can only have one.
Okay.
We recommend a red tail or kestrel. Kestrel's a lot of micromanaging weight. I'm not a big fan of that. Doesn't really matter what my opinion is. The law is that, and they can get a captive red different bird. But we usually encourage apprentices. Generally, most people do red tails. Some will do kestrels. General can have up to 3 birds.
Okay.
And then they can have retraps. I mean, a master can have up to 5. Now, this is under this regulations. There's people with more birds that aren't covered. There might be falcons from another country that's not covered under the U.S. Fish and Wildlife law, so it's a different ball game.
Gotcha.
We're just talking about stuff that's covered under here, species that are native to the United States.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So I've had Harris hawk, Oplomado, and a Cooper's. And then I'd come home, fly one bird. I'd turn around, come home, fly the next bird. I'd turn around, and if I didn't have 2, do the third. That's when my wife's like, no. I don't ask much. Excuse me. My wife's like, I don't ask much, but I am asking you not to do that.
So when the bird's hunting career is over,
yes.
What's the next step?
You mean birds aren't like people. Like the hunting career. Like I've had birds die from.
Put your mic up a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better? All right. Sorry about that. I've had birds die from diseases, West Nile. Things happen. If he was getting to the point where like he couldn't fly anymore, I've had him so long, I guess I would just keep him. I don't know. I've never really run into that. Some people put them into breeding programs. But by the time, it's a dog eat dog world out there.
Yeah.
You can be out flying. I've had my Merlin get nailed by a Cooper's hawk and killed. So if you're hunting, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So I don't know aware of anybody that have really old birds that still can't go out. That's my knowledge.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, this has been fun. A lot of cool information. Things we didn't get to necessarily were seasons. It's all types of species you can hunt with these birds: crow, ducks, dove, woodcock, grouse, rabbit, squirrel, all kinds of fun stuff that you can hunt with these birds. Very cool. Go to our website and check that out,
TWRA.org. Their website will give you more information. There's a Facebook group called Tennessee Falconer Association. With a lot of good people. You got to request. A lot of knowledge. If it's really something you're interested in, try to meet someone, go with them.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
then, like I said, dude, I barely scratched it. I've probably missed a few things. It's just life.
No, it's been fun.
And he's
very
doing pretty
interesting.
good, surprising.
Maybe we can go out with you sometime and check it out.
Before March. I usually done.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Don.
You bet. Thanks, Vincent.
Been great to be here at Region 3, and we'll do this again sometime.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is Tennessee WildCast. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can invest in Tennessee's wildlife future by purchasing a license at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com. That's GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.